Better? Is it better this time? Yes, it is better. Welcome. Thank you for joining. My microphones just change names every time, and OBS is lost with it. So welcome to my weekly live stream about the Uno platform. I'm live coding every Tuesday for about an hour or so, taking a look at what's happening in Uno, or answering questions if you have any, or anything that may happen during what I'll be doing. So lately, I've been taking a look at the Uno Playground. The Uno Playground being an application that allows to test your XAML directly inside of the browser. And what I'm trying to do today is add C#, and I've been doing this for the past few weeks. And what we've been doing is, trying to get your C# to run side by side with your XAML, so that you can, try everything directly inside of the browser without having to, let's say, run a Visual Studio or send a snippet to someone or something like that. So that's the kind of things that we're going to be trying to do with this today. Then let's see. So we had last week a few things that we were able to do. We were able to run a few things like getting the but actually I probably have, so let me try to redeploy the application, so we're going to get that running. So let me open the XAML scripts that I had last time. So what we were able to do, I'm going to be pushing that up so it's easier to read also. Oh, and during this stream, I'm trying something that I tried to avoid a little bit, but every time there's a new preview of Visual Studio, I try to get that running. And this is preview 4 running. That's been out for about an hour or so, or probably this morning, I don't know. So there may be things that don't work, but it's quite important, because there are things that sometimes break, so we want to be able to see what's there. So if you've been in if you're trying it out, let us know if you find anything that may not work with Uno. Okay, so I have my XAML here, and last week what we were able to do is change that XAML, and we were able to put an attach property here. So let's put that XAML completely in there, and it loads. We can see here that the text updates, because I have a timer here that updates the text block that I created programmatically using code, and it updates automatically here. So we can see in the back here that we have a few things that are happening. We have the code that I put here that shows me, let's say that I have my timer here with the console write line that gets updated, and things like this. Another thing that we can see it if I change the text, it should be updating. Let me see if I do. Oh, it probably takes a bit of change. And do I have an update here? No, it doesn't rebuild for some reason. Probably missing an event somewhere. Probably because I changed the yes, the output was not there yet. So the change only happens if I change the output tab to the output tab. So now we can see that because I changed the C# here to counter 2. If I go to counter 3, then the code recompiles again, and then I have counter 3 happening in here as well. So what I wanted to add to the application is now the ability to say, for instance, to import any library. So for instance, in this case, I don't have JSON.NET maybe, or another library that I want to use, or maybe I want to use the community toolkit, or another application, another library that's not there currently. So I want to be able to load that and load that library and use it if I were referencing it as a normal project. So we don't have any MS build here, so we cannot do a CS proj file that loads the content. So what I'm going to try to do is something like that looks like this. Maybe ref, and then I'm gonna add, so what could we add as a NuGet package that we could try out to load some content? So let's see. Let's go and try to find one NuGet package that we could use here that's simple enough for us to try it out. Yeah, Newton.json probably is probably the easiest in that case. So if we want to try to use the code from that NuGet package, then we need to be able to reference it properly. So in this case, we'd think that it's a Newton.json and 1301. So I'm going to be trying to add this. So the full name is Newton.json, and let's put the version like this. We're going to try this one out and see if we can get something more interesting there. So the interesting thing here is that we're going to have to download the NuGet package ourselves, and then you kind of look at the surface of the NuGet package to get the libraries in the right for the right dependency. So let's say, for instance, if we go for that NuGet package specifically, it's something that we need to we need to dig into, taking a look at the library folder. And for instance, we could be able to use, let's say, an standard 2 every time, for instance. So we just go and pick up that one, and then try to load the DLL that's inside. So actually all the DLLs that are inside for now, and add them to the compilation, the current compilation. So let's try to do something like this. So if we want to be able to load this, then first we have to try to figure out how to find those references here. So we're going to be adding something in the project, and in that one, so we have the compiler that's available here, and in here we're going to be adding the compiler, and we have the parsing here that shows us so it's the C# parser that's going to get the source as a string, and then gives us a compilation unit syntax, so that it's something that the Roslyn compiler is able to do, C# compiler. But probably not going to go down that route specifically, and probably just going to do something like this with a regular expression. So let's do it like this. We're going to do a match and just do it by hand for now. So we want to find all the matches for this, which is going to be / ref, and then we want to find a group, a named group, which is going to be package ID, and then the @ character, and then the version number. So that's going to be the version number, and assuming at the end we're going to get a line end. So in this case, version, and so this one is going to be package ID. We want an eager matching, and we want the version as well to be something like this. So I don't know exactly which one that will be, so let's go for this one and see if that matches properly. So we're going to put that out in another method to figure out all the NuGet packages that we need. And actually, let's move it right away. So rename method, that works. So this is resolve. Let's call it resolve NuGet packages. This one is going to be async, of course. Because we're going to be downloading stuff from Nuget.org. at least for now. If we want to add custom custom sources afterwards, we'll do. And let's say that we want to return. What do we return? Probably going to be returning local file paths. It's going to be easier for the resolver to work with. So let's go for this. So when we're going to have local file path is going to be something like what the compiler wants us to get. And there's one part that that is the C# language initializer, and that C# language initializer is going to create what are called metadata references from a stream or from a file. So we're going to be doing something like this for every Nougat package file or assembly that we get, and load that in the playground so that we can have the additional dependency. Okay, so we have our resolved Nougat package here. And I'm going to get our references. So if our references do match, let's go for some pattern matching here. It's going to be fine. Success is true, and then we can probably just go. I think we had let's see, we had some groups. Probably just get the first one. There's probably no need to get for the different matches there. So success is good, and then we're going to iterate over all the matches that we find, the overall matches that we find. So in general, validating for this, I'm not always too sure how to validate that. So we need the source, and I generally create another one. I know that people are using LinkPad or things like that. I don't have that here, so I'm going to be using I'm just going to be using a separate application to validate what I'm finding, so that we don't have to debug using the whole source from the whole application from the playground. Hey Mignets, thanks for joining. Okay, source, we have our package here, and let's just do this for now. We're gonna create another small application to validate the regular expression. I don't know, what do you use? Hey Mossy Blog, thanks for joining. Isn't it early or late for you? I'm not too sure. So let's create a small app. Yeah, it's early, that's for sure. In the early bird, that's for sure. So let's figure out what we can match here and see what we can get. So we have our reference here. Let's see. Normally for regular expression is not there by default. Okay, so our source is going to be something like a bit of source, but at the top we're going to be putting a few references that we add manually, like the one that we had here, and we're going to add another one there. So, well, let's do two different ones for now. We'll see afterwards if we need to do something different. Okay, so let's see if we match all the entries here. So we do have multiple references. So it's probably not multi-line. So I do have multiple groups. So it's just the first one, which is not interesting. But there's a method in there. Oh, not the group here, because it's only the first one. There's a next match. So we're going to iterate over the matches there, so we can get all the matches at once. So while references. I don't know. I don't know if the next match is just for the first one, so we're probably going to get the next match afterwards. So we're going to have to do a do first, probably. Next match, and then all right, it's not null or it's empty. I don't remember which one that is. We'll try it again. So let's see if we get all the matches that we need. And it's going to be reference and then value, for instance. What do we get here? Do we get multiple ones or just one? Or none? Could be none. Okay. So value is this one. And we get the second one, which is 0, 2. Okay, so that's good. So we're going to be doing something like this. So, it's not null. It has to be matches. Success, true. Something like this. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So we have our two references. So then we're going to be able to split in between, so and take each individual of those. So that's good enough. And then we can load up all the references that we need. So I tried recently trying to download Nuget packages. So we have that. That's happening in the Nuget package explorer. And just so you know, there's the specific format to get the files from Nuget, considering that you have the known Nuget package ID and version number. It has to be lowercase. So if you put something with an uppercase, it doesn't work. Learned that recently, and then it actually broke as part of the Uno build as a result, because there was a there were some references that were uppercase, so it was not right. So I have to change that. So we have this. Let's make a small list for now. So we want to have Nuget package ID and string. So let's go for package ID and version. Packages. Oh, that's interesting. The default is not using the new without the type by default. Okay. So then we need to add the package ID, and that one is going to be in the match. We're probably going to have to do something with an if there, otherwise that won't work. So if the reference is actually true, but that's fine. So we have the group. We want the group that's called package ID. We're gonna have to add a few validations as well to make sure that it's returning the right thing. But for now, let's just validate that it does what we want it to do. So the first group and the other one, which is the version. Okay. Success. Let's do it like this. Okay. Now we want to be able to download the files directly from Nuget. So to be able to do this, I don't remember the URL by heart. So let's go find that one out in some piece of code that I modified recently. And that one is called the diff, package diff. So we have a tool that's inside of Uno that does package diffing so that we don't introduce breaking changes inadvertently. And that's a big one. That's we want to make sure that we're not breaking anything when we're publishing a new version of Uno. The .NET team has provided something that is .NET Validate, if I remember correctly. And it's actually quite interesting because it's something that's close to this one, and it's a global. It's a tool that comes from .NET Validate, and what it does is that it basically ensures that the package that you're using is not breaking with some version that's available on Nuget. The problem with this one is that there's for the version that I found is that there's no way to provide a list of acceptable breaking changes, because there could be some of the acceptable breaking changes. So that's why we're still using our own version of the of package validation. So yeah, you can see here that you have a package validation baseline version, which allows you to set which version you're comparing to. So it allows you to break your build if you're breaking stuff up. So that's an interesting one. But anyways, so the one we're using is this one, package diff. And I have a download somewhere in there where I'm building the path to the container. There you go. So this is the URL that needs to be used to download something. So we're not going to be using exactly this, because a web client doesn't work on the web. We're going to be having to use something different, but it's a smaller one anyways. Okay, so we need the package ID. So we're just going to iterate, synchronously for now, or at least synchronously, one by one, or serialized download for now. We're going to be doing in parallel download afterwards if we need to. So it's a var reference in references packages, and then we're going to be downloading some packages here. So we have some unpacking code that's available there as well. So we're going to pick that one up we're going to get that one up as well. So we have some package ID, and the package ID is here. So it's reference.package ID, but it needs to be lowercase. So we can either do it here or here. Let's do it here. Let's do it. So I don't know how you do it. Do you, when you have tuples, let's say tuples. I'm gonna get Matt Storgerson's way of saying it. So tuples. Do you keep the parenthesis at the top like this, or do you put it down? Do you do something like this? I don't know. I'm not too sure exactly where that one should go. So, but anyways, so let's go for the two lower invariant for now. Tuples of Nugets. Nuget. There you go. That's it. Yes, Nuget is very interesting. Miguel would be pleased to see that people are picking up on this one. So we have the lower version package ID, and we're going to be downloading this one. So otherwise, if you don't do a lower, the CDN for Nuget is not going to get the file at all. So just so you know. So we get the package ID here, and I could probably do something like this. Reference dot. Actually, could I do this? Package ID and version. Can I do this? Yes, I should be able to do this properly. There you go. So we deconstruct the tuple here directly without having to rebuild everywhere, because we had it here, and then we can use it individually in the location. Okay, so we're downloading the file, and we need to be using HTTP client this time, not web client. So that one is not supported by the web version of .NET. So .NET 6 and 7, that doesn't work. So you need to be using HTTP client. So I'm going to be doing something that I should not be doing, but you should be not recreate HTTP client. But for now, I'm just going to be doing this for now as a faster path. So client, HTTP client, and we're going to be downloading client. It's a get stream async, and the URL that we built at the top. And the out file, no, we don't need that one. So we need to await this. It's a response. Actually, is it a stream or response? It's a stream directly. Okay, so we need to copy the stream to something else. So we're going to be using the local storage. We're going to be using some kind of a .NuGet packet, .NuGet folder, so that we can keep the NuGet packages that we've downloaded already, so that when you restart your application, you don't need to re-download everything. So probably going to be doing something like, if the file exists, has been decompressed or something, and then kind of pretty much what the NuGet package is, the NuGet client is doing. So we're going to be pretty much replicating this at this point. So the method is supposed to be async. There we go. And we have a string here, and we're going to be writing this to, do I need to, so we're in, I don't know which version of .NET we are, but maybe we can do, yeah, we need to do write async to a buffer, or we need to write to something else. So let's do a stream writer. Let's put SW for now. And not to that stream. Actually, let's choose a file. So for the files, we need to be using the local storage. So to get that path, we're going to be using the WinRT API for storage. Storage dot, not that one. Windows.storage dot application data dot current and dot again, which is going to be the local folder. That's a long one. And we have to compose a file name. So let's call it, that's going to be interesting. So we need to be doing something like a NuGet package folder. We're going to have to creating that folder. So that's interesting. We need to be creating that local path that looks like the NuGet folder. So let's build that one. So our path is going to be, the base path has to be the local path plus .NuGet. And then we need to be creating an additional path. So if we, let's actually use exactly the same name. So packages, and then so we need packages, and then the package name. So it's going to be package ID here. Okay, so we need to create that path. We can use base path. So it's going to be creating the path down to that one. I'm probably going to be putting the version as well. Yeah, let's put the version as well, so that we have the exact same structure as the original NuGet client. Okay, so we have the base path, and then what we want to do is download to the NuGet package exactly named as so it's version dash, so it's the package name dot dash the version dot the version. Yeah, it's probably something like this. Okay, so let's create this full package path. So we need the base path, and we need package ID dot the version and a new pkg. So that's going to be the file that we're going to try to get. We need to put this out so that we don't re-download everything every time. We need to write to the full path here. And actually, do we need to do something like this? Probably not, just a file. Let's do a file. You'll need a stream writer. We don't have this one. Write all bytes is not the right, so we're going to be doing open write for that path, and then we're going to copy to the original string. So the that stream. We're going to copy it to SW. So let's put it output stream. And this one is going to be the input stream. Let's call it that way for now. Okay, so the output stream is going to be here. We probably need to be closing this very quickly. So we need to wait. Okay. Going to be downloading all this. So we've opened the file, we've copied the input stream to the output stream. And we're going to close the file so that we can actually open it to decompress it. So I'm not going to be using the inline version of it because it's not useful at this point. And let's take a look at the other program here. So we have an unpack archive here, and that unpack archive is basically using the zip archive class that's available as part of .NET. So we can use all this at the right location, and we can use the extracted directory so that we're going to be putting everything at the right location. So I'm just going to copy and paste everything here. And then we're going to be analyzing the Nuget package inside so that we can include that in our compiler. Okay, so let's do extract Nuget package. With the actual path, full package path. I think it's awaitable. We'll see. I'm always clicking on this. Are you having that same problem that I have? I'm used to just clicking all here, but I was also used to click, close to the bar here, and then I'm always opening the new feature that they added so that it shows you the changes that you made, so that you can stage hunks or things like that with Git. But I'm always annoyed by this. But anyways, okay. So what we need now is extracting the package. We need to extract the package at the right location. So for this, we need to open this. We need the zip compression, which is available, which is nice. So you don't need to do anything so that it decompresses everything at the right location. And then we need to extract that to the path. So what we want to do is extract to the location where, so in place, the location where the package is located, the location where the package is. So to do this, we need to go and get the directory. So get directory name for full package path. It will get everything at the right place. So it says that it may return null, but in that context, this is fine, I would guess. We probably should be validating this. And we're going to be calling it is not null. Let's say not null. So we have there's a problem with this one. So you can't say not null and then you disable the feature. Yeah, that's all together. So you disable the hunk feature correctly. So I provided the feedback where that bar should be on that side, not so close in between, because it just pops up at the wrong time. And it's especially annoying when you have something here. So let's say you want to select the code that's there. You can't. Actually, it changed something. Now it goes away. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so you can select if you're selecting something, the buttons are going away. This is new. It wasn't there originally in previous versions. So Could be a preview for update. That's nice. So if we have a length and it's the extract path, extract path here. And it should be failing here. Whoa. An operation exception. For this one. Okay. So we're extracting to extract path. Okay, so now we've extracted everything. I don't know if there's an async version of this one. Is there? Is there one? No. Okay, so that's one of the things that makes it, it's going to freeze the UI when the extraction's happening. It's annoying a little bit, but it's something that we that I hope that .NET 6, sorry about that, is going to improve with the threading support in .NET 7. So we'll see. It's not there yet, but they're working on it, which is good. So let's make it async for now. Let's call it async for now. Don't think we need to put everything there aside from the fact that the method is not async, but yeah. Is there a way to? Yeah, okay. So let's remove it for now. We're going to make it async at some point if that's needed. Call is awaited. So that one is not async. Then once we have this, we're going to be having to go and figure out which one of the target frameworks that are inside the lib folder that we can use. There's actually a few other things that we need to be able to find, but let's say in that case, let's say for Nuget.soft.json, we need to be using the net standard 2. The other ones are not useful. But let's say if there's a net 5 or if there's a net 6 or something like that, then that needs to be used as well. So there's gonna all sorts of precedence work that needs to be there. It's something that I don't think we can use. It's something that's inside the NuGet package. Actually, let's try to go and figure this one out. So if we go to Nougat GitHub, there's a Nougat client. I think it's in the client. Let's go figure this one out. And if we search for, let's say, Xamarin iOS, maybe. Let's see if we can find something like this. No, Xamarin iOS doesn't exist. Net 6 iOS, maybe. We have framework reducer tests. Well, that's probably something that's interesting. So it's all the algorithms that are used to do fall through. So if you specify a specific, if you're in a specific target framework and then you have a list of other things, then which one's going to match what? So let's see inline data here, and you can see all of them. Like there's already net 7 stuff that's validated, which is nice. Okay, so it says that if you have net 7, if you're in net 7 iOS, then you have Xamarin Mac, net 5, and net 6. Then net 6 matches. So that's the kind of rules that need to be used to validate that. Now, it's done using the framework reducer. I don't know if that one we can use from the outside. And it's a public class. Now, is it something that we can use? If that's the case, that's going to make it very easy. That's going to make it very easy. So let's see, where is that? It's in Nougat.core. So maybe we can import that. Let's see, because I don't want to re-implement the list of things that we need to do to figure out which target framework we need to use. And if we can use exactly what they use in Nuget, then it's a lot better. Nougat.core, does that one exist? No, it doesn't exist. So maybe there's another one. Maybe Nougat client. No, there's no client there. Oh, I'm not in the right tab, obviously. There's Nougat client. Is there Nougat Core? That does exist. There's a Nougat Core, but it looks pretty old. There's a Nougat packaging.core. Could be that that's the one that we can use. So that one's pretty recent. Okay, so let's go for this one and see if we have our package resolver coming up. So we want to be able to get the framework reducer, and that framework reducer can be used by parsing and reduce and get nearest. So we get project and framework. Project is the Nougat framework parse. Okay, so let's see. Let's take all this. It's going to be exactly the same. So what we want to find is the list of target frameworks that are available as part of. So first we need to know the list of our target frameworks that we need to know. But then the current project we're in is Net 6, I think. So there you go. So it's a Net 6 project, and hey, grass to class. Thanks for joining. We're doing some Nougat package parsing and loading up inside of WebAssembly. So we had the package frameworks here. So those ones we don't know about. So to be able to find those, what we need to do is enumerate the folders that are in the lib folder. So we can take those, pretty much the folders that are here, and give that to this pretty much. So to do this, we need to use the base path, I would guess. So lib path. We're going to be combining the path and then the lib folder, which is a convention for the Nougat package itself. That's interesting. The underlining is not going away. Oh well. Yeah, that looks like a small bug. Okay, so we have our lib path, and then we're going to be enumerating the folders non-recursively. Get directories for lib path, and the search pattern is nothing. Search pattern is everything, pretty much. And we need to do top directory only. So we're searching for the files in the lib path. We're getting all the directories, so that we can remove, and then we're selecting everything so that it gets a to list. And we're going to get a list of frameworks, and then we're going to be using the framework reducer, which also works. This one is available. So we get the framework reducer, and then we're going to get the nearest target framework that's needed there. So we get the framework list, we get the project, and then that's fine. So the nearest is going to be something of interest if it's available. So if it's null, then it's going to fail, and we need to ignore the Nougat package there. And if it works, then we're going to get all the files that are inside that folder, the DLLs, and then get those as a list of references that we can provide to the compiler so that it can compile something up. So let's move this to a method that's called get assemblies list. So this is going to be returning a, let's go for a list of string for now. Oh, actually, no, it's called packages and package assemblies. It's called package assemblies. And then once we do have the nearest, then we're going to be enumerating the files that are in that folder. So we take the lib path target framework path. And then use the nearest if the name is the right one. So is the name the right one? Is there a folder or something? Get short folder name. Creates a shortened version of the framework using the default mappings. Okay. So what I don't know if it's going to be matching the exact name that's supposed to be there. I hope it will, because it's supposed to be matching, but let's see. Well, we'll see what that does. And if it's using the right name. So now what we're going to do is add all the items back to the list here. And it's going to be assemblies.addRange, and then we do a get files from that one. So get files from the target framework path with a search pattern of this for now. So there may be things that may not work, like for instance, if you're trying to get let's say localization assemblies, for instance, satellite assembly. So that won't work. You need to go, and search for files. Actually, we probably could be doing all directories. So we're going to be returning everything and then ask for the compiler to just do its magic properly. Because there may be, so if you have a satellite assembly, then you have the top assembly, which is the one that's with the neutral culture, and then you're going to have subfolders with each individual culture. And that's when you're doing when you're using resexes or things like that. And that will help the compiler to, well, that will make sure that you're be compiling everything properly. So I don't know. I actually don't know if we need to provide. I don't think we need to provide the satellite assemblies to the compiler, because it's something that's used at the runtime, but not at compile time. So let's skip the let's go for the top level directory only for now. Okay, so now we have the list of files here. So that's the package assemblies that we have here, and then we're supposed to be returning a list of file paths. And since we're doing it in a for each loop, we're going to be having to do some add range as well. So let's do this. Assemblies. And we're going to be doing an add range at the end. Add range for all the files that we got. Okay. So with all this, we should be having interesting assemblies at that location. So maybe we should be logging them at the end. So let's do a small piece of logging for now. Make sure that we're getting everything. And got package assembly, and then let's put the path completely so we can log this properly. Okay. Extract Nougat package is not doing anything here. And we have an error here because in the resolve Nougat packages, we're not returning anything. So let's return our assemblies here. It was an array, so let's convert that to an array. Okay, so we have our resolved Nougat packages. So if we go to the location where it's used, we have the Nougat packages here. That's a set of files that are there. Now, the thing is that the compiler is only accepting, accepting references that are of a specific type. So we're going to have to convert that. So maybe resolved Nougat packages should not be returning strings, but rather, references. So as I mentioned before, what we need to do is a metadata reference. So probably we should be returning a metadata reference instead of a file path. It's probably not going to be useful for the compiler. So let's do this instead. So what we want is an array of metadata references. And we'd probably do something like this here at the end. So it's an assembly, and then I think we can create from file. Create from file, and there's a path. So there's that, and we can do simplification for this. There you go. So we have oh, the type is not the right one. Okay, so it returns a portable executable references, which is not the right one. So the type inference is not good, so we still have to do something like this so that it returns the type that we need at the end, which is another type. It's probably because they're default values. That's why. Okay, not needed. Okay, so there we go. So there we have a set of references that we got from the Nuget package. And then what we do need to do is to provide those to the compiler. So to do this, let's see how we did that with the original one. We have a method that's called load reference. And that one is doing a load reference here. And we have a task. We have a set of references, and those references are passed as the C# compilation. So we may need to be modifying the compilation so that we create a new one that uses this a new set of dependencies, or we concatenate when we create the compilation. So it could be something like this. So let's see. Can we add references? We can add references. And we can add a set of metadata references here directly. So let's put our packages here. There we go. So we have our new references added from the Nuget packages that we've downloaded that are added to the compiler, and then it should work. So let's see if it does work. Let's build this. So it may not work at first. If there are some linker configuration issues, so we'll see, because of course we added Nuget.org, the Nuget client here as a dependency, so it may not be available right away. So we'll see if that helps. If we need to add some new exclusions for it to get to work. Okay, so we have the compilation. We don't have a main, which is good because the default content is not the right one. Now, what we need to do is change the XAML here. We're going to be making a smaller sample for now, because we don't need all those with the timer. So I'm going to be removing the timer because that's not useful that much. And it failed because our timer is not available. There you go. Okay. So I could probably use the new format. Is that working? We're not with the latest version of the C# compiler. So the file scope namespace is not available yet. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so we have this. Now what we want to do is be able to do something like this. So let's say, I don't remember the types by heart. So let's go and peek at that one. So we have a news.json. Let's go and peek at the types that we have there. So we're just going to get one of the types that are in there. We're going to do a type of, and then see if it actually builds. Hi, Luca. Thanks for joining. So we're going to take, let's say, JSON convert. So the type is JSON convert, and it's this one. So if we do a type of at the top here, it's supposed to say that Newtonsoft doesn't exist. Now, if our thing is working, we should be able to take what we had here. So I removed it, but let's add it again. We should be able to put our ref at the top and have something downloading. Okay, so we have some download that happened, some extracting that happened. We have no file, for instance, so we didn't get anything, so that's interesting. So we got the file, we got the right file, but it looks like we didn't get anything from the list of files that were extracted at that location. So one thing that we can do is take a look at what was extracted. So if we go to local storage and take a look at the index.db, we are gonna get in the local folder the file data and then a lot of stuff that's there. So let's move this for now. So we can see that there's a SDK that's there, but it looks like I'm not seeing any file extracted from that one because it's only the assets cache and not the files that were extracted as part of the, oh, there's 200 entry. Yeah, I'm just seeing the first page. That's why. So previous page and next page, is it? So next page. Okay, there you go. Okay, we have not next. So that's a lot of files. Okay, so so I didn't know about that one. Probably never got to a point where I had too many files to take a look at. Okay, so we can see here that we have a Nougat package that got extracted and that there were the right files put the right place. And the files that we're looking at that we should be getting actually is the file we should be getting is that one specifically. So Newtonsoft JSON.dll. That's the one that should be there. But for some reason, we didn't get it. So let's try it again. So let's do a second copy of the code so we don't repeat. Let's see. So we're going to be adding a bit more logging to the location where we are parsing our Nougat package here. So it looks like the Nougat package resolver here didn't provide anything because we didn't get anything from that log. So we do know that the download happened properly. So the extraction worked, but what did not work is likely to be the get package assemblies here. So let's see what we got. So maybe we didn't get the right target framework, maybe. So let's see. So all this will happen to be going inside of a new window that's going to be at the bottom of the Uno playground, so that we can actually see something that happens and not having to open the browser debugger. But anyways, so unable to find a compatible target framework for compatible target framework for. See, we do have the list of frameworks, so let's do with it in like this. And we're going to be having to join a few things here. So we had to separate, and our list is the framework lists. So that's our frameworks. And so that's if we didn't find anything. But if we did find something, it could be that the file, the folder here, the short folder name is not the right one. So that could be something that we need to find out. Find nearest target framework. And let's put the path completely. It's going to be easier. Okay. Let's do it again. That's very nice that we can actually reuse the Nougat framework directly from an application like this, so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel for that kind of logic that takes up some time. And I've been taking a look at what they're doing to add new target frameworks, and there was a lot of discussions around do we need to add a target framework for WebAssembly, and it never happened for a variety of reasons. Some good, some not so good, because they're probably too bit centered into what Microsoft is doing for itself and not necessarily the community. But anyways, so let's see. We got unable to compile. Whoa, that's a weird sentence. So unable to find compatible target framework in nothing's been parsed. Okay, so that's interesting. Okay, so that's not good at all. It may be that the parsing of this is not right. And I see. Get directories is providing the full path, not just the path itself. So we have to do get directory name. Otherwise, the full path is probably not something that the Nougat framework is able to parse. Okay, so let's try again. That's going to be easier this time. So we have this. Okay, so it's reloading on the other end. Let's put that back. And that back again. So we can see that we're downloading every time. It's not something that we should be doing, but still not working. Okay, so it's still not working. So it looks like we're not parsing the right target frameworks for some reason. Unsupported version. Okay, so let's go take a look at what we're getting from here. So get directory name is not the right thing to get. I would have thought that we would get the right path, but obviously not. Okay. So let's do it a bit differently. We're going to be writing those as well. Hi, Windsor. Thanks for joining. So we're going to get the source folders again to see what we're getting, because I don't know what that is. Probably something weird there. Let's try again. So yeah, I was saying that we're re-downloading the package every time. We have to figure out that we're, the folder is there, and that we're assuming that it's full. I think Nuget does that by itself. So if the folder is there and you're not restoring anything, then it's assumed that it was the right one. So you don't need to clear anything or do any kind of validation. It can lead to some weird stuff, especially if you're deleting the content of your Nuget folder, cache folder manually, which needs to happen when you have a lot of files. But anyways, okay, so we get still getting the full name. That's curious. That's interesting. So maybe I'm not doing it the right way. Oh yeah, we were doing. Oh, that's fine. We should be. That's why. So let's see. That's my bad. I forgot to do something like this. So maybe that means that the parsing for some reason is not doing the right thing, which is very odd. It's supposed to be getting the right list, but It's supposed to be get directory name, but for some reason, maybe I'm not using the right thing. Or, oh, it's get file name. Ah, that's why. Haha. Because we're already in a directory, so we need to get file name. See, that's why. Okay, so probably can drop that one. Let's see if it works properly before, but it's probably just this. So we're in the folder. If your path is a folder, if you do get directory name, then you're gonna get the directory of the directory and not the name of the directory itself that you're trying to get, which is something that needs to be changed. Okay, so let's go back to our app. And then copy this again. Okay, so it's downloading again. Okay, so we're getting 2 assemblies and there's an XML file in there. And obviously, if you provide an XML file to the compiler saying that it's an assembly, it doesn't work. So it says Newton-JSON.xml could not be opened. PE images does not contain any managed metadata, which is exactly what we need. So that's probably because we didn't filter it out properly. So let's go and filter this one out properly. So we get the files here and wait, yeah, that's correct. So it's supposed to be .dll instead of star, because we just want the DLLs. Okay, that's fine. So let's continue and see what we get this time. Okay. So downloading again, got the compilation, and then no more diagnostic. That's very nice. Okay, so it's a type of, it doesn't do anything. So if we put it there, so we're going to have to adjust this so we don't download it again and spend a bit too much time. Oh, okay, so it failed because we downloaded it again and then we try to decompress the Nougat package at the same location again. It doesn't work. Okay, so what we can do now is make sure that we're not re-downloading the file every time. So that's going to be easy. Let's say if the folder does exist already, then we're not going to be extracting it again or downloading it again. The package full path doesn't change, and we still need to get the files that are associated to it. So the full path is here. And the base path is going to be the same every time. And then this is going to be a download that we can extract. Let's see, what do we get if we extract this to a file? We need to find the package ID, version, paste path, and package full path. Okay, that works. But we don't need the HTTP client there. So we're going to be able to remove it. Okay, so let's take this one out. And it's going to be download Nougat package. It's just a task. We don't need to return anything. And I wonder, do we do it outside or inside? So we got the download here. Get package base path. So we don't need to recreate a full path, so we can just do the Nougat package here inside. And we get the base path so that we download to the right location, so that's fine. Okay. And then we're going to be validating it here. So if file exists, a package full package path does not exist, then we do, and then otherwise we don't. Package ID. Let's use version like this. Okay. That works. And then let's download it again. So now we do have our Nougat package that is downloaded. And that means we're going to be able to add the reference properly and without having to mingle with the rest. Okay, so now we don't have to download it again because the file's already here. What does it say? Package Newtonsoft at 1301 already exists locally. There's no need to do anything there. And we got the compilation that's working properly, so that's good. Okay. And then we got no diagnostics, so that means that our Newtonsoft JSON convert was imported. So that's it. We have a way to add references to external Nougat packages inside of the application using a special comment here. So that means that we can add any other kind of Nougat package that you want to include, logging or control libraries that you're getting, like let's say if you want to use the Uno toolkit or anything like that, or you want to use Prism and make an application that uses Prism that runs in there, or things like that. So that's the kind of things that you can do with adding the references. And the added benefit of this is that we don't download everything up front because it's going to be available right away. The only thing that I'm seeing here is that maybe we downloaded something and made a compilation, but it's probably not using the right file. It's using a file that's actually used by the playground itself. So we may need to add the assemblies to the assembly load context instead, so that it loads the file properly. So and that it runs properly. So let's actually try another one quickly at the end. So let's see. What do we have for projects? Maybe not AutoMapper. What do we have here? Some kind of a good one. Let's go for XUnit or NUnit. That would be interesting. Yeah, let's go for an XUnit. So the one that we want is a new reference. So it's going to be XUnit and the version is 241. So we got XUnit being downloaded, and there's nothing here. Why isn't there? Because that's another Nougat package. So that's something that we're not doing, which is going for the sub Nougat packages. So that we don't have. We're probably going to have to go and pick the packages down and use the right one. So that Nougat package is empty. Probably XUnit assert that we need to get. And yes, that's the one. So let's go and include that one for now until we do get the we do get the dependency. So you're saying Krotchnik says, so that would mean that you can now include third-party Uno compatible controls libraries and test them in the playground right away. That's exactly the case. And that would also mean that maybe we can add something like a local storage or something. Let's say we would do, because when you're in the playground, you can have a local path. So let's say if we were to make to add an additional folder here, like an actual local folder, then you could go and have the browser open a folder picker and get to a local folder that you have on your machine, and then use those Nougat packages instead of the ones that are coming from the outside, something like that. So that's pretty cool. Something that we should be able to do pretty easily now that we have all the stuff that allows us to read files from the file system using Chrome's extensions. So that's pretty cool. So we said XUnit core. No, it's assert. I think it's asserts or asserts. Assert, there you go. So it's using xunit assert, but let's see what we do have exactly in this one. So that we're using an actual type. Going to be downloading the file from netstandard 1.1. And the good thing is that it actually picked up the 1.1 version from there. So it's not something we had to guess and say, you know, I'm taking another file, that's not the right one because I didn't have the right logic to pick up their target framework. So that comes for free. So that's very nice. So let's say xunit.assert. I'm just going to go for this one. So xunit.assert, and if it fails, and it's likely to fail because we're not loading the file, it may not work properly. So let's go for xunit.assert, and I think there's probably an is false or something. Is there an is false? Yeah, false, and then we're going to say true. Well, let's go false so it doesn't fail. Okay, so in that case, it's probably going to fail because, and you can see here that it says exception thrown by an invocation. So let's go take a look at the exception, and it says could not load the assembly xunit.assert here because the code has not been loaded there. So let's try to fix this one. We're going to add that to the assembly load context that we have and see if that works properly. So we have in the output here, when we're compiling, we're creating an assembly load context here, and we're only loading one assembly, but we're not loading any of the other assembly that have been loaded from the Nuget package resolving. So for this, we're going to have to get the paths. And now I don't know if we can get this the right way. So let's see. A metadata reference. I don't know if we're going to get a path from there. There's the display, but I don't know if there's a path. So we're probably going to have to, instead of put metadata reference, going to put the complete portable executable reference instead. So we're going to be using this one instead, because in this one we have a path, if I remember correctly. There's a file path. So if there's a file path, then we can iterate over the Nuget packages that we have and load the new files instead of the assembly context. So let's go for that. Package in assembly. And it's going to be packages, which actually not packages anymore. It's package assemblies. We're going to be changing that afterwards. And then what we need to do is load from file or from assembly path. Load from assembly path, and then go for package assembly.file path. There we go. And this may be null. I don't know if we did something like this. No, they didn't do anything like this, so we have to so I was wondering if, when it says that you have to compare it to null, if there's a way to do an if around, but it doesn't look like there is. So let's do this like this with an if on the outer condition. Okay, so let's pick the change that we made here instead. And let's rebuild. And after that, that should be enough for today, I think. That's good progress. That means that we can do a lot of stuff now and import any kind of code that the user wants, so we can have the richness of the Nuget ecosystem running inside of the browser without having to compile anything locally. So that's pretty amazing. There's that one, and that one. So we got the downloads that are happening, and oh, look at that, it worked. So XUnit was actually loaded, because otherwise it would have failed. So if I say true, it fails. Very nice. So it says exception has been thrown by the target of an invocation. So you can see here that the assemblies that have been loaded are now executing the code that comes from the assembly load context that we loaded the Nuget package in. So we can see here that it searches for xunit.assert because it was from the assembly load context that we just created. So that's very nice. So so there you go. We have a pretty interesting case here, so that we can make something extensible with loading all the Nuget packages that we need, and so that the application just does what it's supposed to be doing with lots of flexibility. So that's very nice. So that's it for today. I hope you had some fun and learned a few things, like I did again every time. It's trying to do some things that I don't know about, and that's pretty interesting. So we do know that we can get some interesting things with the Nougat client and not having to parse the target frameworks and get the right resolution, the right location, just by taking a look at the tests here, because that's a public API. So that's very cool. So until then, have fun with Uno and coding in general, and that was fun. So happy coding, and see you next week. Bye for now.